If your bidet is barely trickling water or the spray feels like someone blowing through a straw, you are not alone. And your bidet probably isn't broken. In most cases, it's one of these 23 fixable reasons. We're running through all of them fast with quick solutions. Let's go. Reason 1. Shutoff valve not fully open. If the shutoff valve under your toilet isn't fully open, that alone will kill your spray pressure. That angle valve behind the toilet gets bumped during cleaning or never gets fully reopened after plumbing work. The fix is dead simple. Reach back there, find the valve, and turn it all the way counterclockwise until it stops. Fully open, done. Reason 2. Clogged inlet mesh filter screen. Maybe you forgot there's a tiny mesh screen inside the water inlet connection. Every bidet has one, and sediment, rust flakes, and mineral grit pile up on it silently over months. Turn off the water, disconnect the hose, pull that little screen out with tweezers, rinse it clean, and put it back. Night and day difference. Reason 3. Hard water scale calcified in the nozzle. If you live in a hard water area and see white, crusty buildup on your faucets and shower head, the same scale is calcifying inside your bidet nozzle holes right now. Soak the nozzle in white vinegar for a couple of hours, scrub gently with an old toothbrush, and rinse. Do this regularly. Hard water doesn't stop. Reason 4. Kinked or internally collapsed supply hose. Maybe this small thing is causing the problem. Your supply hose is kinked or internally collapsed. It looks totally fine from the outside, but the inside is crushed and choking the flow. Check behind your toilet, straighten out any bends, and if the hose is old or made of cheap rubber, just replace it. They're inexpensive. Reason 5. Whole house water pressure too low at the mains. If your whole house has weak water pressure, not just the bidet, the problem is at the mains level. Anything below 30 psi coming into your home will make every fixture underperform. Grab a cheap pressure gauge from any hardware store, test a tap, and if it's low, call your water utility or a licensed plumber. The bidet is just the messenger here. Reason 6. Pressure reducing valve set too low or failing. Sometimes this happens without any warning. The pressure reducing valve on your main water line is set too low, or it's starting to fail. It's near your main inlet, and when it throttles down, every tap, every shower, and yes, your bidet all suffer. Have a plumber recalibrate or replace it. Not a DIY job for most people. Reason 7. Aftermarket inline water filter killing flow. Maybe you installed an aftermarket inline water filter on your bidet line thinking it would help. And it did help water quality, but it's also killing your pressure. External filters drop flow significantly. If you've got one attached and your pressure is weak, that filter is likely the main suspect. Electric bidets with built-in filters handle this way better. Reason 8. Wrong spray setting. Wide or soft mode active. If this is happening, the bidet sprays but feels super weak, check your settings before anything else. Wide spray mode and soft cleanse mode spread water over a broad area on purpose, which naturally drops pressure intensity. Jump into your remote or side panel and switch to a narrower, stronger spray mode. You might just be fighting your own settings. Reason 9. Solenoid valve burning out inside electric seat. If you have an electric bidet seat and the spray suddenly dropped or stopped, especially on a unit that's a couple of years old, the solenoid valve inside may be burning out. That's the electromagnetic gate that opens to release water when you hit the button. This is an internal repair or replacement job. Check the full troubleshooting steps over at cleanorhygiene.com. Link is in the description and pinned comment. Reason 10. Internal water pump wearing out on smart bidet. If this is your smart bidet toilet and pressure has been gradually weakening over time, the internal water pump is likely wearing out. That pump is the engine driving your spray. As it ages, output drops. Diagnosis and replacement on these units takes a few steps. Full details are on cleanorhygiene.com. Linked article below. Reason 11. Occupancy seat sensor dirty, wet, or misaligned. Sometimes the bidet powers on perfectly. The seat warms up, everything looks fine, but zero water sprays. That's almost always the occupancy sensor. Every electric bidet has a safety sensor that refuses to spray unless it detects someone sitting down. If the sensor is dirty, wet, or the seat isn't fully clicked into its mounting bracket, it just won't fire. Wipe the sensor area dry, lock the seat in properly, and test again. Reason 12. Clogged or damaged T-valve or missing O-ring. If you see weak pressure right at installation, or after you clean the toilet and move stuff around, check the T-valve. That's the splitter connecting your water supply to both the toilet tank and the bidet. A clogged internal passage or a missing O-ring in there will starve the bidet of water. Inspect it, clean it, and make sure the rubber seal is seated correctly. Reason 13. Slow hidden leak, bleeding off pressure. Maybe this is happening behind the scenes. A slow leak somewhere in the supply line is bleeding off pressure before it even reaches the nozzle. Wrap toilet paper around each connection point, run the bidet, and check for dampness. Wet paper means a leak. Tighten the fitting or replace the hose. Reason 14. Post-plumbing work sediment clogging the inlet filter. If your pressure dropped right after a plumber fixed something else in the house, that's not a coincidence. Nearby plumbing work shakes loose years of sediment inside the pipes, and it shoots straight to the first small screen it hits, which is your bidet inlet filter. Clean that screen right away after any plumbing work, every single time. Reason 15. Switch to electric seat. It's weaker by design. If you just switched from a bidet attachment or handheld sprayer to an electric seat and the pressure feels weaker, that's not a defect. Electric seats run on a small internal pump. It's never going to match raw mains pressure. Some brands push harder than others. Check flow rates before you buy if pressure is a deal breaker for you. Reason 16. Handheld sprayer trigger spring worn out. If this is your handheld sprayer and pressure has been dying even with the valve wide open, the internal trigger spring is worn out. That spring controls how far the valve opens when you squeeze. Worn spring, restricted flow. Simple as that. Replace the sprayer head. It's cheap, takes 5 minutes, done. Reason 17. Nozzle stuck half extended, won't fully deploy. Sometimes the nozzle gets stuck halfway out. Debris, mineral buildup, or a motor fault. Half out means half the spray, and it's going the wrong direction too. Scrub around the nozzle base with warm soapy water and a soft brush. If it still won't extend all the way, the nozzle motor needs replacing. Reason 18. Wrong replacement hose. Narrower bore than original. Maybe you swapped the supply hose yourself and grabbed whatever fit the connectors. Here's what people always miss. If the new hose has a narrower internal bore than the original, it permanently chokes the flow, even if the connectors match perfectly. Always match the internal diameter when buying a replacement hose, not just the ends. Reason 19. Cold winter water throttling the instant heat system. If this is happening in winter and the spray feels weaker than it did in summer, cold incoming water is forcing the heating element to throttle flow so it can heat it in time. It's a built-in trade-off on instant heat systems. Run the bidet for a second before you use it, or use the temperature preset if your unit has one. Reason 20. Eco mode is on and silently killing your pressure. Maybe you forgot or never even knew your smart bidet has eco mode running. Eco mode limits pressure, temperature, and spray time to save energy, all quietly in the background. Open your settings menu or grab the remote. Find eco mode and turn it off. That might fix everything instantly. Reason 21. Old galvanized pipes narrowed with rust inside the walls. If you've got weak flow across every fixture, not just the bidet, your home may have old galvanized steel pipes rusted and narrowed on the inside. The bidet just makes it obvious because it needs a steady, solid stream to actually work. This one needs a plumber and a real pipe replacement conversation, not a quick fix. Reason 22. Control board or remote signal lost or corrupted. If the bidet powers on fine, but nothing sprays when you press the button, the control board or remote signal is probably lost or corrupted. Start with the basics. Swap the remote batteries, unplug the unit for 60 seconds, plug it back in. Still nothing? Repair the remote to the unit following your manual. Most of the time, that resets everything. Reason 23. Tank type bidet heating tank scaled up inside. If this is a tank type electric bidet and the first burst of spray feels fine, but pressure drops fast right after, scale buildup inside the heating tank is restricting internal flow. The tank refills and reheats through scaled up channels and just can't keep up. Descaling the tank periodically with a vinegar flush is the fix. Check the full step-by-step process at cleanorhygiene.com, linked below. That's all 23 reasons your bidet water pressure is weak or not spraying at all. Most of these you can fix yourself in under 10 minutes. If you want the full deep dive on any of these fixes, with step-by-step instructions, photos, and product recommendations, head over to cleanorhygiene.com. The direct article link is in the description and the pinned comment. Drop your bidet model in the comments if you're still stuck, and I'll help you out. Like this video if it saved you a plumber call, and subscribe. There's a lot more bathroom troubleshooting coming your way.